The following episode of the Kingdom of Isolation contains footage from the film being discussed. The footage is used solely for the purposes of education, commentary, and criticism under fair use. Please support the animators by watching this film on Disney Plus or home media where available. This episode also contains spoilers throughout.
Hello, my fellow Pixar fans, and welcome to the Kingdom of Isolation, where in times of trouble, why not celebrate the magic of Pixar? And today, we've got another Toy Story film on our hands. No, it's not Toy Story 5. It's Lightyear, which came out in the summer of 2022. Finally, back on the big screen on release. I was curious about this when it was announced, but then it was a letdown for a Toy Story film, effectively. Didn't think I'd be saying that. Anyway, regarding the documentary Beyond Infinity, more than half of it was spent going through the other Toy Story films rather than focusing on Lightyear itself, which was worrying for me. The behind-the-scenes stuff I found on IMDb, it wasn't much more helpful either. Oh boy, it wasn't much more useful. Still, time to work with what we've got and head to infinity and beyond. Now, a movie set in space called for the kind of high-tech gear and blinking gadgetry that would make a sci-fi fan smile, according to producer Galen Sussman. The look is a cool mishmash of retro and futuristic. Throughout the film, the knobs, the dials, the buttons are all very tactile. The edges are all rounded in an effort to capture that feel Angus wanted. We hired John Duncan, who had done a lot of work for Star Wars, and had him build our first spaceship. It's designed as if he were building it for a live-action prop use.
I like toys a lot. I have strong opinions about them. And so for a lot of the big ships, I just built them out of Lego bricks.
Then we took the same designs and built them on the computer because we wanted to see what it was about CG that lacked the warmth that you get when you use practical models like in the Star Wars set. From there, we developed a film language that put the warmth back into the CG models, curves where you would normally do straights, making sure that there's no such thing as a single edge, all to move away from that super sharp, super crisp CG look. The intro takes us back to 1995, where the events of this film are in fact the movie Andy watched before his birthday. The music is provided by always a win Michael Giacchino, last seen with Incredibles 2. Top right of your screen if you want to hear my thoughts on that episode. A crew of 1,200 aboard the ship that we're on, that's heading towards an uncharted planet.
Buzz Lightyear mission log, stardate 3901.
That is the voice of Captain America himself, Mr. Chris Evans. Chris has also portrayed Johnny Storm in the good Fantastic Four films and Deadpool and Wolverine. He cameoed as himself in Free Guy, portrayed Lucas Lee in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Casey in the 2017 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, Ransom in Knives Out, and his most recent role at time of recording is Jack O'Malley in Red 1. Fun little Christmas film with Dwayne Johnson in it.
Terrain seems a bit unstable. No readout yet if the air is breathable. There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Who are you talking to?
No one.
And of course they were going to call back to Toy Story with that. Buzz Lightyear is a confident, loyal, and accomplished space ranger whose pride in his work shines bright. He enjoys the thrill and adventure of gallivanting around the galaxy, successfully completing missions with his friend and mentor, Commander Alicia Hawthorne. According to director Angus MacLean, Buzz really enjoys the kind of comfort and familiarity that comes with being part of a tight-knit team.
To get the Buzz Lightyear from the toy to now this actual human action hero, he becomes a space ranger, but we also see his heart grow. To tell that story, there had to be stakes and issues that a man would deal with and not a toy.
Angus wanted the new side of the character to shine. Buzz is such an iconic character, and I wanted this film to be separate from Toy Story. You're not exactly doing that when you've got all these references to the lines he said in the previous Toy Story film. You're not exactly helping your case there. I thought of it more as a prequel, and I wanted it to be cinematic. I thought of Buzz as a different character, in a cool, low-key, clever way. Here's your issue. You already have Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. Why is it not on Disney Plus yet? Buzz Lightyear has always been a determined, confident, and heroic character, but with Lightyear, we get a chance to see a more vulnerable and human side of Buzz, says Chris Evans, who lends the voice to the Space Ranger. We witness his struggles, uncertainties, and occasional failures. Buzz's longtime commander is a fellow Space Ranger and friend. She is skilled, competent, and trusting, according to Galen. She invests in people, mentoring recruits, and welcoming rookies to the action, while Buzz just doesn't have the patience. That fellow Space Ranger is Alicia Hawthorne, who we've mentioned briefly earlier. She's voiced by Uzo Abudu. Uzo Abudu has won 3 Emmys to her name. 1 for Miss America, and 2 for Orange is the New Black.
Something that really helped us out was the creation of this character, Alicia, a partner, somebody who we could track aging as he was staying the same.
If it bothers you, Commander Hawthorne, I'm happy to wait back on the turnip.
Please don't call it the turnip.
But the ship looks like a root vegetable.
Yes, you made that very clear at the design review.
Now, the SC-01 spaceship, lovingly referred to as the turnip, thanks to its root vegetable-like look, is among the most important sets in the film. Not only does it transport the massive crew and supplies to Takani Prime, it serves as a backdrop for much of the film. According to sets supervisor Nathan Farris says, it was all about scale. We had to make it feel huge, as though it could contain 1,200 people. There was a lot of exploratory artwork placing the turnip next to Pixar or the space shuttle to give it a sense of scale. We had to find the right balance of very large shapes and those small enough to show that a human had a hand in it.
Commander Hawthorne, you know how I feel about rookies. The same way I feel about autopilots. How may I assist you? Is there anything I can do, sir? They don't help, they just overcomplicate things. I'm better off just doing the job myself.
Which is why I brought the rookie.
Hello?
That rookie is Feathering Hamston, voiced by Bill Hader, last seen as Axel in the unnecessary Toy Story film. Yeah, I said what I said. What are you going to do about it?
Finish the mission, no matter the cost. You will never quit. Whatever the galaxy may throw your way, will you please turn that off?
Even Buzz is tired of the inspiring music cliche.
It's just too easy.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Lightyear, can we stop referencing the Toy Story films? Please? You're not exactly helping your case here. Feathering Hamston is taken by an alien, and Buzz is acting ignorant towards the rookie, as he refers to him. The film is an Aesop about how unchecked ego and rampant guilt can drive a person to the point they lose everyone they care about. Buzz and Alicia head back to the ship. Hang on, what about the rookie?
Where is the... rookie?
Buzz helps Feathering Hamston. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun trying to say that fast. They both make it back, and try to escape the planet.
Captain Lightyear, do you need my help?
Negative!
Are you sure?
I'm Buzz Lightyear! I'm always sure!
Okay, now you're just nostalgia baiting with all these references to the Toy Story trilogy. Yes, there are fans that consider Toy Story 4 as non-existent. In other words, not a canon event. Team are now stuck here, thanks to you, Buzz. The next mission is to create a hyperspace crystal. The only issue is, in reality, it's not really that viable in the grand scheme of things. The film in your review has a dark, humorous tone. I couldn't really see much of that. So, the correct crystal formula would take 88 years to make, making Buzz's efforts entirely pointless. The second point, he could have had a normal life with his generation, but his ego pushed him to keep trying and skipping forward in time. Because the faster you travel towards the speed of light, the slower time travels relative to everybody else around you.
Having been at the studio for a long time, the sense of time passing was first and foremost in my mind.
And 3, the descendants of the colonists have no reason to go to Earth. So Buzz was entirely wasting his time trying to do so.
He is aging at a different rate than all of his friends, and he sees them grow old as he continually fails to make up for the big mistake.
That social dislocation was the most captivating to all of us.
Now, Star Command is the main base that sprawls out from the Turnip, the big colony ship, once they've been marooned, according to the set's art director, Greg Peltz. It's the base of operations where they build the pyramidal-shaped silo to launch test flights. There's a feeling of military hierarchy going on with the perimeter walls and all kinds of fortification to protect the crew and staff members. It's where science meets military with a geometric, appealing simplicity in the broad shapes to it. Buzz's primary mission in the film is to test fuel concoctions in an effort to reach hyperspeed and get the crew back to Earth. The monumental mission involved risky test flights, which meant multiple spacecraft needed to be created. According to Craig, I'm a model maker at heart, and I've had a deep love for big machines ever since I was a kid. This movie was literally overflowing with cool models and machines, so it was kind of a dream come true for a nerd like me. We really wanted the look of our models to be such that you'd want to reach out and touch them and start playing with all the buttons and switches. There are no touchscreens or cloud sharing in the world of Lightyear. It's all zip disks and 20-pound CRTs. Big box TVs for those that remember them. In addition to looking cool, the chunkiness of our world has a toy-like appeal that ties right into our main source material, Buzz Lightyear. Buzz, Alicia, and their large crew find themselves marooned on a hostile planet. While there was a clear starting point for the characters, given the Buzz action figure, the all-new Anything Goes setting left the door wide open. Artists narrowed their options, deciding to include familiar features like trees and lakes, with an otherworldly twist, to ensure the audiences would not be distracted. The planet itself, says production designer Tim Everett, is smaller than Earth with a big difference. It's a tidally locked planet. He says the sun only hits half of the planet. One half is always light, the other is always dark. It's time for the first hyperspeed test flight.
Ready, Captain Lightyear?
Ready as I'll ever be, Commander Hawthorne.
To infinity?
And beyond.
And that's the only thing that should be referenced, because it's Buzz Lightyear's catchphrase at this point. Anyway, the letter C is used for speed. 0.6C, 0.7C, etc., etc., etc. C is defined as the maximum speed, which is the speed of light, as in Einstein's famous E equals mc squared formula. On Buzz's ship, there's a piece of technology that gives him trouble. He pops out the unit and blows into it to clear out the dust and sticks it back in, after which it miraculously works. This is similar to the widely used technology for the original Nintendo Entertainment System and Sega consoles when game cartridges failed to load properly. However, Nintendo at the time warned against it, and many game experts since then have debunked the practice as an urban legend. Blowing on the cartridge actually tended to make the problem worse by corroding the copper pins to make a clean connection. Ivan, an acronym for Internal Voice Activated Navigator, is the portable onboard computer in Buzz Lightyear's spaceship. Truth be told, Buzz is not a big fan of Ivan, but it's not really the computer's fault. Buzz likes to be in control. He doesn't trust autopilots. Worse, Ivan alerts Buzz whenever things go wrong, pointing out each and every mission failure. Galen Fold goes on to say, Mary McDonald Lewis is the voice of Ivan. She's done a lot in her career, but you may recognize her from her voice for another reason. She's the voice of OnStar, the onboard computer in your car. If you've got a car that has those onboard computers to begin with, yeah, we got a kick out of that. Mary's also been part of G.I. Joe in the 1980s. Airman Diaz, voiced by Efren Ramirez, voice a character, is a cheerful and dedicated member of the Star Command flight crew. He oversees the team that preps Buzz's ship for each mission. Diaz also provided Buzz with an Ivan, internal voice activation navigator, and the latest hyperspeed fuel crystal. He's the guy on the tarmac who checks all the boxes before Buzz takes flight, says story supervisor Dean Kelly. Diaz also serves as a measuring stick of time passing when Buzz leaves and returns. He's a great visual representation for us to see just how much time has passed.
So this is the fuel that's going to reach hyperspeed.
It has an 87.6% chance.
I'll take those odds.
Buzz only has 4 minutes to reach hyperspeed, and in that time, he's been gone 4 years. Buzz is clearly not a fan of Ivan, as we've already mentioned, or any autopilots for that matter.
Wait, what is this? How long was I gone?
4 years, 2 months, and 3 days.
Buzz is still processing the fact that everyone's aged 4 years while he was only gone for just a few minutes. Test after test, and he misses a lot of Alicia's life while he's been on every test flight. Her getting married and having her own family, with just one moment causing a lot of controversy. Seriously, grow up. That's all I have to say regarding that. What moment is it, I hear you ask? Well, it's not very often I bring the film rating up these days, but let's bring it up anyway. The film is rated PG by the MPAA, unlike the 4 main Toy Story films in the franchise, which were rated G. However, due to the brief same-sex kiss, it became the first children's animated film to be given an NC-16 rating in Singapore, equivalent to an R rating in the US. Again, grow up! And that's the only thing I'm going to be saying regarding the film being banned and or censored elsewhere in the world, especially in the Middle East, because the Middle Eastern countries, you'd think they were homophobes. Oh wait, they actually are. Anyway, Buzz gets a present as well in the form of Socks, voiced by Pixar legend Peter Son. Yes, I'm considering him a legend at this point. Socks is a dutiful robot companion cat gifted to Buzz from Star Command, intended to ease the Space Ranger's emotional transition after his time away. Socks basically exists to make Buzz happy. A hidden grab bag of gizmos in a cute kitty package, Socks is the friend and sidekick Buzz needs. Socks is also adept at providing white noise and is capable of complicated computations. He can fill Buzz in on whatever he's missed while he's away, according to producer Galen, and according to Socks himself, he's an excellent listener. The robot character Socks is possibly based on Comet, a character from the cancelled Circle 7 version of Toy Story 3, and the cat sidekick to the main antagonist of said version of our aforementioned movie, Dax Blastar. And yes, it's exactly how it sounds.
The mission was unsuccessful?
Affirmative.
Oh no, I am so sorry to hear that.
Thank you, Socks.
I'll say this. Giacchino does deliver a great score that captures the sci-fi setting of the film perfectly. Buzz has tried to carry out the mission so many times he's basically missed Alicia's entire life, including her passing away. This is why you need to stop obsessing over something, otherwise it will consume you, like it has with Buzz here. She does leave a final message for him.
I'm leaving a message for my friend Buzz.
The Space Ranger?
That's right. He's in space right now.
It's really cute that her granddaughter Izzy knows Space Rangers are still out there. We see the humanity come out of Buzz as he sheds a tear with a photo of the two of them he finds.
Commander Cal Burnside. I was a big fan of yours when I was a kid.
And that's now Commander Burnside's office since Alicia's no longer here. At least outside the office, we get an RA-113 as well as a pizza platter truck shortly afterwards. The mission to reach hyperspeed has now been abandoned thanks to Burnside insisting they stay where they are. Socks, meanwhile, has managed to fix the fuel problem.
It was an interesting combination. Just the slightest variance, but it made all the difference.
Socks, how did you do this?
It took me 62 years, 7 months, and 5 days.
And it's stable?
Theoretically.
Socks is supposed to be decommissioned, but then Buzz legs it with Socks in hand, carries out the mission one last time, and this time reaches it.
100% hyperspeed.
Eat your heart out, 2001.
Buzz Lightyear to Star Command. Come in, Star Command. Star Command, come in. Why don't they answer? Hey! The what?
Better question. Why don't you stop making reference after reference to the Toy Story movies? References are becoming a bit overkill, as far as I'm concerned. Number 42, the answer to the life, the universe, and everything, saves Buzz from the Zyborgs. And it's exactly what you think it is. The Zyclops are an army of dutiful automatons loyal to Zurg. They're tasked with one mission: find Buzz Lightyear and bring him to their master, where their master can destroy Buzz Lightyear, destroy Buzz Lightyear, destroy Buzz Lightyear. According to graphics art director Paul Conrad, the Zyclops graphics are part of the overall Zurg approach. They all have graphics that fit in the Zurg design language and actually use the fonts that we created for Zurg, says Conrad. Everything that you see in the Zurg world is written in that font. The Zyclops are numbered, and some of those numbers are pretty easy to figure out. But they may have other messaging on them that at first glance you wouldn't be able to decipher. Now, Zurg doesn't wear a cape in this movie. The reason for this is due to Zurg having a much bulkier body in this movie, which would have made him having a cape very difficult to animate. Likewise, in the Toy Story films and the animated series, he had a tube-shaped torso on wheels with no legs, though it's intended to be a robe covering his legs, which was also changed in this film, since that would have also been impossible to either animate or work with. Thus, he's instead given a more humanoid torso with legs. Zurg is voiced by the brother of Thanos, and Gino, if you watch Deadpool, James Brolin. Number 42 is Izzy, Alicia's granddaughter, and is voiced by Keke Palmer. Now, she's won 2 Emmys. One for hosting Password, nice fun little game show there, and one for Turned Up with the Taylors. Side note, 22 years Buzz was gone for when he reached hyperspeed. James Brolin admitted that he had never seen any of the previous Toy Story movies, so knew nothing about any of the characters in this film. He said he agreed to voice Zurg purely on the grounds that the Pixar guys have good judgment. It is believed that Zurg's design in this movie was inspired by that of Mazinger Z, since both have a somewhat similar design to each other and are able to fire their arms as missiles. Though in Zurg's case, he has a chain attached to keep his arm from getting lost after firing it, much like Get a Robo-Go. This is backed up by the fact that Greg Peltz stated in an interview that Zurg's design is indeed inspired by that of several super robots and mecha from Japanese anime. The scene where Izzy rubs Rox's belly is taken from a deleted scene from a scrapped version of the script, where Buzz meets a 7-year-old Izzy, and she does the exact same thing, and the dialogue is word for word identical. So it's not technically a deleted scene. Get your facts straight, IMDb. That's not deleting the scene. That is reworking that same scene for later in the film in a different draft of the script. It is the same scene, they have just reworked it for the version of the film that we got. That's not deleting a scene. Izzy introduces us to the other members of her team. Dale Souls is voicing Darby Steele. Dale's also been part of Orange is the New Black alongside other names that have not only been on the show, but also been in Pixar films in recent episodes here. Then we have Mo Morrison, voiced by Oscar winner Taika Waititi, who's also got some directing credit to his name. Taika won his Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay for Jojo Rabbit, which also got nominated for Best Picture that year in the Oscars. Taika has directed episodes of The In-Betweeners, The Mandalorian, and What We Do in the Shadows, as well as the third and fourth films in the Thor franchise for the MCU, and the sports film Next Goal Wins. Still need to get around to watching that at some point. One of my favourite films he's involved in is Free Guy, where he was the insufferable Antoine. Mo suffers from a lack of direction. He just can't seem to find his passion. He has long had a fear of commitment, especially when it comes to holding a full-time job. When Mo joins forces with Izzy Hawthorne and the Junior Zap Patrol, he doesn't exactly share Izzy's passion for the cause. It's just something to do. Mo joins the unit because he doesn't have anything else going on, according to Angus. He doesn't have a lot of confidence in his ability to succeed. He figures he'll just quit before he has a chance to find out, but it's impossible not to laugh at his antics. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really laugh at this on my most recent viewing. Darby is a gruff, no-nonsense, and not exactly voluntary member of the Junior Zap Patrol. Nonetheless, she completes the trio in a refreshing, albeit abrupt way. Darby says it like it is, and doesn't care what anyone thinks about it. Her mysteriousness is what I think makes her interesting, says Angus, and kind of hysterical. The Space Ranger suit that Darby wears throughout the film reads Tempest. This is a reference to Tempest from Morph, one of the names being considered for Buzz Lightyear early in development of the original Toy Story film. The Tempest from Morph name was used in the 1992 test footage for that film.
I get it? Pretty close! Sorry, I'm not trained with this weapon.
Wait, run that by me again?
Not trained? Wait, what do you mean you're not trained?
Oh yeah, Mo and Darby are actual rookies. Never been trained before? Yeah, this does not bode well.
You there! Grab it! Grab it!
Grab what? Oh, I'm not allowed to handle weapons. Be a violation of my parole!
Oh, you're kidding. We have an idiot who isn't trained and another who's on parole. Izzy and Buzz are the only competent ones in this group at this point. Just great. Buzz manages to remove one of the arms off the Zyborg, only for Mo to hit the target at the third time of asking, much to Zurg's frustration elsewhere. So he goes to find the squad himself.
You will first head south towards the base. After 2 stoplights, you will... Wait, that is not right. That is a dead end.
Do they seriously have a robot with the IQ level of the useless Canadian in Formula 1? For reference, Brazil 2024. The useless Canadian blames the brakes for the spin out in his Aston Martin on the formation lap. Okay, not too concerning so far, despite the fact that he caused himself to spin out because he's a blithering idiot at the wheel, refusing to take any accountability for any incident he causes with the most punchable face in the world. Next to Austin Theory and The Miz in the WWE, but my point still stands. Still, the Aston Martin is on the runoff area, and the idiot decides to drive through the gravel, beaching the car in the process.
You dumbass!
And yes, that is boosted intentionally to emphasize the level of stupidity required to even try such a stunt in Brazil in the wet. I'll be glad when the useless Canadians finally gone from sport, because then we no longer have to worry about these idiotic levels of stupidity that even a driver in their first ever race in karting wouldn't be stupid enough to try. Izzy tries to help Buzz, only to be met with...
I can't allow that. Star Command Code 2709.3 forbids me from placing unqualified personnel in harm's way.
Buzz, they are the only ones with you. You don't have a choice. Either they help or you all die. What doesn't help is that he leaves the trio behind, learning precisely nothing from previous events. Buzz then finds his Space Ranger suit, and Mo, being incompetent, manages to wake up the Hive. Congratulations, you're an idiot. Then Buzz realizes, due to his mismanagement,
they don't know about the timer.
Na 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 na, you can't see me.
Wait, I can see you.
I can see you too.
He didn't tell anyone about the timer.
No,
I surrender!
Boy. Is it too early to call this the worst Pixar film ever at this point? Seriously, the idiocy from Mo is just biblical at this point.
Are we going to space?
No, I'm gonna drop you somewhere.
Oh, God damn it, Buzz. Another note. Izzy's afraid of space. She has astrophobia. She's a Hawthorne.
Unacceptable!
Buzz refuses to work with others. Darby's on parole. Izzy's afraid of space. And Mo's just an absolute idiot. Socks is now the only competent one out of everyone here. And he's a robot cat! Zurg's ship finds Buzz, takes down the ship, and they land on the dark side of the planet. I was half tempted to make a Pink Floyd reference there. Izzy gives us one of the only drops of competence that squad has throughout the entire film.
What?
That mining facility will have a console, right? That console will have a little coil thing, right? And that little coil thing will have the
specialized capacitance
that we need to fix the ship.
They get to the facility, and Mo brings the competence level back to 0 because thanks to activating the security system, they're stuck inside captured codes with nowhere to go.
Sure we can. Take it from me. We can always just leave. Look, see? Come on.
Remind me why these idiots exist? The squad needs Buzz, only for him to say this.
I won't be able to save you.
You don't need to save us. You need to join us.
Thankfully, they manage to escape, and Mo gets meat sandwiches, where the meat is the bread and the bread is the meat. Don't think too much into it.
Good one, Doug. Oh no!
Socks!
Wake up, Socks. Come on, little buddy, come back to me. Please, Socks, I'm sorry.
I swear this was done intentionally just to make him as stupid as possible. Again! Reaching the same level of stupidity and incompetence as the useless Canadian.
I almost killed Socks. I almost got us all killed back there.
Hey, listen to me. It was just a mistake. Right, Buzz?
No, Izzy. There's making a mistake, and then there's just being an absolute idiot. Buzz then opens up about how bad he was in his first week in the academy. We then get a sentimental moment where Socks plays a file of Alicia, telling him to look after Buzz. Izzy has belief that Buzz can complete the mission. Time to head back to the ship. Only issue is Zurg has found him and it's only after Buzz.
What?
This is definitely a violation of my parole.
Okay, plot hole. How did they get there specifically? Zurg calls reinforcements as the squad make it back to the ship. They try to hover away. Only problem is the Zyborgs also have hover capabilities.
I'm gonna dance with Mr. Boom.
The Pixar equivalent of the Bioforce Gun 9000 for the Doom fans out there. And no, I'm not calling it its unofficial nickname. Because again, obvious reasons, there's kids watching.
100% complete!
Oh, hello, Macintosh startup. By the way, just fire the damn weapon, Darby! Or did plot convenience decide, nope, I'm going to be stupid as well? Thanks to a combination of idiocy, incompetence, and stupidity, the fuel flies out. Buzz has to go and get it, but the Zyborg beats him to it and takes it with it. This is what happens when you let plot convenience get in the way, Darby. All you had to do was fire the damn weapon, Darby! You know what I said about this being let down? Now I genuinely do not like this film. It feels as unnecessary as Toy Story 4, and especially Toy Story 5, which is scheduled to come out in 2026 at the time of recording. Buzz abandons the team and is captured by Zurg, leading to a twist that has you thinking, really? Why?
You look good, Buzz.
You had a golden opportunity to have Tim Allen, the original voice of Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story main movies themselves, to be here, and you blew it! Allegedly one of the reasons for why Zurg was changed from being Buzz's father to an evil future version of Buzz was because Pixar wanted to avoid making Zurg too similar to Darth Vader. They already made that gag in Toy Story 2 and nobody batted an eyelid regarding that. Out of fear that Lucasfilm would sue them for plagiarism, especially since Zurg started off as a parody of Vader to begin with, and Pixar wanted to evolve Zurg into his own character rather than keep him as a knockoff of said character. Disney own Lucasfilm. What's your problem there? Angus also stated in an issue that they struggled to come up with a story where Zurg was Buzz's father that could be executed properly. Thus, the change from Zurg originally being the father of Buzz Lightyear to an evil version of Buzz himself was made.
Meanwhile, thousands of miles away.
Izzy rips off the badge, regretting what happened so far. Time for old Buzz to explain what the hell is going on. The plan is now to try and go back in time. Doc Brown, explain the issue regarding that?
The encounter could create a time paradox, the results of which could cause a chain reaction that would unravel the very fabric of the space-time continuum and destroy the entire universe. Granted, that's a worst-case scenario.
Thank you. Our Buzz then thinks about the consequences of the actions they're about to commit.
Who's Izzy? Look, she's not gonna miss anyone if she never meets them in the first place, right?
Old Buzz is trying to convince our Buzz to hand over the crystal.
You and me, we're not the same. I'm sorry.
No, Buzz. I'm sorry.
Okay. Another major issue here. We've barely known you for a few minutes. What do you have to apologize for? Izzy tells the squad to get back into the ship while Zurg, easier going forward, takes the crystal before Old Socks buys Buzz some time. Izzy's squad make it onto the ship and try to find Buzz. Zurg and Buzz now engage in a race against time showdown after Buzz enables the self-destruct sequence.
There. When they step on it, it'll blow up.
What if they don't step on it? I mean, I wouldn't step on that, would you?
Mo, knowing your level of stupidity, you would be the first person to step on it.
Izzy, I don't need your grandma. I need you.
Buzz, that is the first time all film you've asked for help. Too bad with about 20 minutes to go, you've not done enough to save any points already lost in the scores. Izzy confronts her astrophobia, only for Buzz and Zurg's battle to cause her to miss her target thanks to the ship moving. She makes it in, While Buzz tries to escape, Izzy helps him. Darby actually does something useful, while Mo just takes the back seat. The ship self-destructs. Buzz makes it to a ship, only for Zurg to catch it.
Not today, Zurg!
Okay, I'll let that reference slide, because at least it wasn't forced. Mo's pen finally comes in useful to use the air brake and land safely. Buzz finally accepts he is home on the planet they're on. Burnside wants to start up the Space Rangers again, but Buzz declines, having already found his team. They get ready to start the next mission as the credits start to roll, and we get a couple of credit scenes as well. One that's just completely inconsequential, where you just see the laser shield being used to keep any pests out of the way, and the second post-credit scene showing Zurg survived the explosion. Well, that went well. Let's just get to the scores. The story gets a 6 here. I already went through the plot holes earlier. It was an origin story that just did not need to be made, as we already had Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Again, why is it not on Disney Plus? The characters, they get a 4. Oh boy. Where to begin? Socks was the only character I enjoyed throughout the entire film, even though I'm not a cat person. Whose bright idea was it to have someone who is the granddaughter of a legend have astrophobia, an absolute idiot on the level of the useless Canadian, and a parole violator as part of the film? Buzz isn't even that likable because he flat out refuses help and obsesses over getting the mission done. Again, they had a golden opportunity to have Tim Allen cameo as Zurg, and they didn't take it. Visuals, a 7. The only thing that really stood out visually was the hyperspeed visuals when Buzz reaches hyperspeed. Beyond that, the animation was just fine. Now, the soundtrack, I'm giving an 8. It's like Randy Newman went cinematic, so good choice having Giacchino on board to help with the music. The legacy, oh boy. Let's go through the legacy, give the legacy the score, and then we get the overall score. A $200 million budget, and it grossed $226.4 million worldwide at box office. Only 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, with the consensus reading. Lightyear settles for being a rather conventional origin story instead of reaching for the stars. But this gorgeously animated adventure ably accomplishes its mission of straightforward fun. 2 Annie nominations, 0 wins, 3 nominations at the Kids' Choice Awards. Minions, bleh, I've already mentioned in the previous episode, beating Turning Red as well. Chris Evans was nominated for Favorite Male Animated Voice, losing out to
What the Rock is cooking!
From League of Super Pets. Why? Side note, Adam Sandberg is nominated twice. Again, why? One of them was for Chippendale's Rescue Rangers, which is garbage, and I have no intention of watching it. And now that I've said that, I'm going to have people in the comments going, Chippendale, 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 dude, Chippendale, Chippendale, Chippendale. Which means I have to subject myself to the oblivion that is the ugliness and abomination of nuclear weapons that is Ugly Sonic, who is not a cameo. He is an integral part of the film. Oh boy. Selena Gomez makes sense winning the favorite female voice actor, animated voice, because of Hotel Transylvania, and she beat out Kiki Palmer. Thank God the insufferable, unfunny Aquafina didn't win. She just does not work for voice acting because A, it's forced, and especially B, it's not funny. When the film came to Disney Plus, it was the second most watched movie in the States on all platforms during the first weekend of August. During the same month, when it came to Disney Plus worldwide, it was number 1 for 35 consecutive days. How does it compare to the Toy Story films? Unnecessary, but not as unnecessary as Toy Story 4 and Toy Story 5. This film wasn't needed, as we've already had Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Once more with feeling, why is it not on Disney Plus? So the legacy only gets a 4. And the overall score it gets 58%. Congratulations, Pixar. You've made a film that's worse than Cars 2 in the Kingdom of Isolation. My advice, just avoid this one and stick to the trilogy and number 4 if you're so inclined. What else do you want me to say beyond that? Oh boy, and hopefully that's the last bad Pixar film we can get through for the time being. That being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Kingdom of Isolation. If you did, hit the thumbs up, and if you're already part of the kingdom yourself, you can hit the subscribe button down at the bottom, click the bell, and turn on notifications so you don't miss when an episode goes live. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Only 2 films to go now. The next one, Elemental. But until then, I'll see you guys next time in the Kingdom of Isolation.